Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB bikini pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the Return Guest Series, and we have got a really awesome episode coming for you because we're going to be talking about something that we brought up on the last episode that has now been accomplished and is being worked towards. So Ashlyn Brown is here with me today. She is a lifestyle and competition coach. She works with Fit Body Fusion now. There's been a lot of changes since we last spoke. She had dreams of qualifying for the Olympia, and guess what? Now she's in prep for the Olympia. It's just going to be such a great episode to hear all that's been going on. So Ashlyn, thanks for joining me again. How are you?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely amazing.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I know we just had a little chat, but to give you guys listening, Ashlyn's been up to a lot of stuff. You know, she's contributing to the industry. If you don't listen to her podcast yet, she does it with Beatrice Bishaya. I always butcher that, to be honest. Yeah, it is Bishaya, right?
Biscaya.
Biscaya. So I love that girl. She's so awesome. You and her both are awesome, and you make a great team hosting your podcast as well. And we're going to be talking about that. But I want to just kind of start off with the fact that you've really killed it this season, and you've had the support of your husband, your dogs, of course, at all your shows. You've been enjoying the places, traveling, all these different things. So why don't you walk us through your season, how it evolved, and how it led to you, of course, now being in prep for the Olympia?
Yeah, of course. So, I did my first show ever as a pro last year in August. So that's whenever the season started for the 2020 Olympia. So it started in August and 2019, and that's when I did my first show. And I pretty much competed that whole year. So August to December, I did 9 shows back to back, and just, I really, my game plan and strategy for that was really just to let the judges see my face and to get them to know me, because as an amateur, I didn't really compete that much. It's as everyone knows who competes, it's really expensive. I had no sponsors. I had no help whatsoever. Every single thing that I ever did, I paid for on my own. So it's extremely expensive. It adds up, especially national shows, because they're just the entry alone. Yeah, just the entry fee alone is so expensive. So, I also had a full-time job. I wasn't coaching then, as an amateur. So I just didn't have the time to compete as much. So I only did 6 shows. I did 3 national shows, and then I did the 3 just state level shows that got me qualified to go to nationals. So 6 shows total. So it was just something, as my rookie year as a pro, I really wanted them to get to know who I was, because I just didn't feel like I had that chance as an amateur. So, getting in front of Sandy a lot, meeting the judges, going to posing seminars, just workshops, stuff like that, stuff that I really neglected as an amateur. I really needed to nail and just get down in my pro season. So that's something that I was really working on whenever I first started. And I just knew that hitting all the shows and doing all that was really going to help me. So I had zero expectations. I never went into a show thinking that I was even going to get in first call out. Obviously that was the goal. But that was never, something that I expected. I thought I was going to have to work really, really hard for a long time. And I was okay with that. I just wanted, to get feedback and keep polishing my look, because polish was something that did not come easy to me. My husband had coached me all the way until I turned pro. So having Jamie and finding Jamie was something that really helped me with my polish. And I knew that when I had a consult with her, and that was something that we talked about. And, after she looked at my photos, that was pretty much the one thing that she really wanted to help me with, was just bringing my polish together. You know, I didn't even know at that time, like I didn't have a pro routine at all. I taught myself posing. So when I met her, you know, she really helped me with my posing and really, you know, brought my physique to life basically with my posing routine. So, you know, there was just a lot of stuff that we needed to work on. And then, you know, I did my first show in San Antonio, and that was my pro debut. So I did my pro debut in San Antonio. I got 8th place. So I got center of second call out, and I was so happy with that. I was very happy. I wanted to get top 10. So I got my goal. And I tried a red suit, which it was like a bright red, and it was just something that I've never done before. So I knew that, you know, I was just trying to figure out like what color suit was going to look good on me, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, blue was what I kept getting. Every time I got on stage, the judges were like, well, have you tried blue? Like, didn't you turn pro in blue? Why don't you go back to blue? It compliments you. It compliments your eyes and your hair color and blah, blah. I tried a bunch of different makeup styles. I did the darker smoky eye. I've actually put on a wig. Like, I've done so much stuff to kind of figure out what is going to be best for me and what, you know, what my look is. I didn't know what my look was at all. So, you know, just trying to perfect that and stuff was why I did so many shows. And I'm really glad I did, because I learned so much. And then obviously I got, you know, and I've even had my worst placing as a competitor ever, amateur and pro. I had my worst placing ever and my best placing ever, literally weeks apart from each other. So
What were the variables that were different?
well, whenever I did, it was actually my 8th, I did my 8th pro show, and it was the Iron Games. So first of all, it was a huge show. I think
Oh
it
my
was the biggest
gosh.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Massive. You can't even fit
there
them
was a
all on
ton of
stage.
girls. I know. So not only was it the biggest show, which that really doesn't matter, but it was also a muscle contest show, which I don't ever do muscle contests, but I really wanted to get in front of that judging panel, get their feedback, see what they had to say about me, or if they liked my look or whatever. So I got in front of them and, you know, got last call out. And that's, you know, that's the first time I've never received anything less than second call out ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I mean, my package was good. I definitely think that I was a lot fuller than I had wanted to be. You know, we had done something peak week, and I don't know. I kind of was playing around with my peak week, and I tried to like really deplete myself and then carb up. Like, I don't really know why. I just wanted to try something different because it was just one of those things. I was like, hey, let's just try this. So we tried it, didn't work. I just filled out too much. They told me I was too soft, which, you know, I was expecting that because I did not feel tight at all. Looking at my stage shots, you couldn't really tell. It was a lot more mental and a lot of something that just it didn't look like me.
Yeah.
So that was something that I was like, all right, we're not going to do that anymore. Let's go back to the drawing board. So we did.
Hasn't Sandy also said she likes you when you bring like a more harder look?
Yeah. And I wasn't in front of Sandy, so I thought I could get away with it.
Right. Yeah, I was curious. I was like, that'd be a good test, but you got your answer.
Because I've heard that that muscle contest likes the like full glutes, and so
Yes.
I was like, maybe, you know, that's just what I've heard that. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could just fill out a little bit more, because I had been dieting for a long time. So I was like, I didn't really feel like I was bringing that fullness that I had wanted. I felt really stringy. So I tried to fill out, and I just filled out too much. So then we went back to the drawing board, and I'm like, all right, let's diet even harder. So I was like, that was supposed to be my last show. Iron Games was supposed to be the end. And I was supposed to take a break because it was my 8th show. But I was so frustrated with the result. And I was like, oh, I can do better. I can do better. So it kind of like sparked a fire in me to just keep going. And then Battle of Texas, which was in Dallas. It was a couple weeks after that. It was in December. So I dieted down for that a little bit more and just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. It was the lowest calories that I'd ever been. My body was fighting me, but I really wanted to do it, and I really wanted to prove myself that like I'm better than fourth call out, even though I knew that. It was just something that I was like, no, I can't end my season like this. I have to keep going. So I decided to do one more, and I ended up getting my best placing ever, which was third place. As a pro, which to me, I was like blown away. I was really happy with top 3. That was what I really, really, really wanted. I was like, I really hope I can get top 3 at the show. Let's just see. So I ended up getting top 3. And I was really happy. I got my feedback, and then I took a break. So I had about an 8-week break. And then I wanted to start the season again. And then obviously like COVID and everything started happening. So I was aiming for Governor's Cup, which was 2 weeks before everything had shut down. They had canceled the show. Yeah. So it was crazy. And it was like, I'm actually kind of glad that it happened. It was a blessing in disguise because it gave my body more time to rest, which is pretty much what I really needed. But I just was so anxious to get back on stage and keep going. So, I had about, I want to say it was 2 more months to really just kind of eat a little bit more food, train really hard, and just really like keep going with my training and stuff, and just give my body a little bit more rest from being so dieted down. So I'm really glad that happened. And then, so then they finally opened back up shows. I mean, my husband had built me like a home gym and all that good stuff. So while everything was shut down, I still got to train like normal, and very, very thankful for that. So I really I got back into prep as soon as I heard that shows were opening back up, and I did NorCal, and I got my 2nd place win. And I couldn't even believe I was splitting center. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, it was a dream come true, just being like, I could potentially win this show. Like, I was thinking like there's a possibility, and I've never had that feeling before. So it was definitely something that I was like, okay, the improvements have been made. Sandy likes what I'm bringing. I went and I talked to her after the show, and she gave me some really good feedback. And I put on I had my new suit from Toxic, which was a little bit different of a shade of blue that I had originally. So the one that I had before was like a darker teal, and the one that I had now is like a lighter turquoise color. Yeah. And she absolutely loved it. She was like, oh my gosh, this is like your color. Please don't change it. It's gorgeous. And I was like, okay, awesome. And I ended up like doing my hair darker. So I went like a darker blonde, like more of a dirty blonde versus like the light blonde that I was having. And that made a huge difference too. So she really liked my hair color. She loved everything. So I was really happy with the package that we brought, and all of that. So basically I just kept everything very, very, very similar, and I just kept going. And then I decided that, if I want to be on the Olympia stage, I'm going to have to get up next to these Olympians. So I decided to do, I mean, I was just like, there's the only way. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to, really see how I look next to them and see what the judges think of me next to them. And I knew it was going to be something that was really scary, but I knew that it was going to be worth it. So even if the outcome wasn't what I had hoped it was going to be, it didn't matter to me, because I really just wanted to see what the judges had to say, comparing me to them. So I did that, and I ended up doing the Tampa Pro, and got 3rd place there. And I was, top 3, which huge. Like, I was blown away. I couldn't even believe it. Like, and the thing about that is that I've only been in front of Tyler as a pro one time. And so I really wanted to get his opinion. I wanted to get, I wanted to know where he would place me. Like, I hadn't been in front of him. So it was a huge risk I was taking. Like, I knew going into that show, they weren't looking for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know the judge. Like, I knew Sandy wasn't going to be there. I really wanted to just put myself into a show knowing, hey, whatever feedback they give me is going to be real. So that was something that I really wanted to just like make sure that I was getting really good feedback from Tyler. That was something that I wanted to do. So I was really happy with how that show went, the package that he brought, everything like that. He loved everything. I mean, there was nothing that.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, he said, everything was great. They said I was a little too sharp, like I could have been a little more full.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was it. They said everything else was great. So I ended up doing 2 more shows after that, and my points by this time, I mean, were pretty high. I've
Yes.
I've been number 1 in points for a little bit.
I
So
know. I'm like, girl.
so I wasn't like too worried about the placings. Like I really just wanted to know
Yes.
feedback. That's
Mm-hmm.
like where that's where my motivation comes from, is feedback. What can I do to improve? So um, after doing that, I decided to do the Clash, which I knew Ashley Kaltwatzer was going to be doing that show. So I really wanted to do that show, to be compared to her. And splitting center with her was mind blowing. Like I just can't. Like I can't even get over being next to her and seeing the package that I brought next to hers. And, it was just, it made me feel really good because I've looked up to these people for so long and they've always been my motivation. And, I just really wanted to be happy with what I brought standing next to them. And I just couldn't believe that I was just in tears. Like I just couldn't believe that I
Mm-hmm.
loved everything about that. And it's crazy because that show, I actually changed my entire routine the night before.
Really?
Yeah, I switched my side, which I've never even attempted to do the other side. I haven't even practiced it. I've never even tried.
Oh my
And
gosh. How did you?
because for whatever reason, my side that I always, the side that I always pose on, I couldn't like engage my core. I don't know why.
Mm.
It just wasn't working. So for whatever reason, my stomach looked really full, and um, it looked really thin in the morning without food. So like all my check-ins and stuff, they looked great. But as soon as I would have a meal, it would fill out too much. But it was like not
Wow.
even a big meal or anything, and I was still lean. I just couldn't pose correctly, and so it was making my stomach look bigger than what it actually was. And so she asked to see the other side. And before I even showed her the other side, I was like, no.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, no, like, what? I'm like, I've never even tried that side. Like I was just like, there's no, like, no, I'm not going to change the side the night before. Like, that's crazy. And she was like, just do it. Let me see. Let me see. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I did it. And she was like, your stomach looks way better on that side. Like you don't even have to try. Like the engagement was just there, and I don't even know how or why, or because I wasn't doing anything to do it. I just like went and like sat into it and just like went on that side and hit my front pose, and it looked perfect. And she was like, why don't you do this side? And I'm like, I told her, I was like, I don't like my delt on this side.
Oh my god.
And she's like, because this is my right delt is actually the delt that I had hurt years ago. And
Okay.
it's really hard for me to engage it when I train. So it's a little bit smaller. It's not like noticeably smaller, but to me,
For you.
it looks
Hmm.
smaller. So I'm just like, no, it's smaller. I don't want to do it. And she's like, it's just one of those things that was in my head. She was like, trust me, they don't care about that. They care about the overall shape. She was like, and your stomach looks way better. Like, let's just try it. She's like, just try it. You know, this is what it's about. Trial and error. Just go out there, have fun, try it. We'll look at the stage shots. We'll get feedback. And then, if it doesn't work out the way that we think it's going to, then, we'll change it back. It's no big deal. I'm like, all right. And, that's the whole point of having a coach, is trusting them. And I trust
Yes.
her 100%. So for me, I'm just like, if you tell me that it looks good and you tell me that I can do this, I trust you. And you are my eyes right now. So I'm letting you, see what you see. And as long as you think it looks good, I trust you. And she's like, okay. So, I did that, and it's crazy because I practiced it a little bit, but I kept telling myself, like, before I even went out there, cause I'm on the stairs and I'm like about to walk up and I'm like, man, like, this is why I'm a pro right here. Is so if there's any changes that I need to fix or change or anything like that last minute, I should be able to do it. Like, get your head in the game, just go out there and have fun. you know, it's just the other side. Just do the same thing, just on the other side. I kept telling myself, like, you're not going to mess up. It's fine. And it was probably my favorite and best routine I've ever done.
It
Like,
was
ever.
beautiful.
It was crazy. Like, I had never felt so comfortable. And it was crazy. And what the even crazier part is, the song that I always pose to in my garage came on right before I walked on stage. So the song that I
Wow.
posed to on stage was the song that I always pose to in my garage.
That is awesome. I love when I hear stuff like that. I'm like, how crazy, right?
It was so crazy. I was like, okay, this is like, I heard that song and I immediately got in my groove. I was like, this is my moment right now.
That is so cool. I love that. And wow, I mean, the fact that something you said a few times that I'm just like, I love this mindset, is the outcome didn't matter to you. And you said like you thought it would take a long time, and then you kept doing all these shows because what mattered more was the feedback, as well as seeing yourself next to Olympians and next to girls who were in like the place you wanted to be or had been there. And I think that says a lot about you as an athlete, and the mentality you bring is that you care more about being better than you do about just like getting a title or becoming a champion or getting a qualification. You're like, I genuinely want to do the work. I genuinely want to respect the sport enough to show up and do what's necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely something that gives me more drive. You know, you can go to every show you want and win, and I'm sure that that feels great. But for me personally, like, of course I would love to take a win, but I also love the challenge. That's the whole reason that I
Mhm.
got into bodybuilding from the get-go, was that it challenges me. So going to these shows and being up against these people, you know, these Olympians and these just incredible athletes. I mean, they're all incredible, whether they go to the Olympia or not. They're freaking
Yes.
incredible. And these girls are serious. Like, they bring, like, when I'm backstage and I see these girls, I'm just blown away by how amazing everyone looks. And I would honestly just hate to be a judge. Like, I really would, because everyone looks so good. And so, you know, I just take into consideration how amazing everybody looks, and the fact that I'm even getting, you know, in those top call outs, whether I get first place or sixth place or whatever the case is, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I love doing this, and it's something that, you know, is a huge passion of mine, and I just want to continue to get better. That's all I really, really, really want. So,
Have
um,
you have you ever been backstage and seen the girls and been like, wow, they look so amazing? And then like how, if this has ever come up, did you ever feel like, oh my God, it's gonna be really hard, or I'm not gonna do well, or have any doubts come in?
oh, every time. There's not one
Mm-hmm.
time that I go there that I'm not like thinking, dang, like, this is so stacked. I could probably get freaking last place. Like, I actually think that, because
Yeah.
you see these girls and you're like, there's no way that you can, like, I can beat them. Like, there's no way, because they look so incredible. And they think the same thing about me, you know, like,
Right.
everybody, everybody has that, you know, doubt, and everybody looks at other people, and that's just, it's different when everyone sees themselves so differently than what you see other people, and then vice versa. So, you know, it's definitely something that I'm confident in myself. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I can't beat them, and I'm not like they're gonna beat me or anything
Yeah.
like that. I'm just like, they just look so good that it's so hard to imagine someone picking your physique over other people's. um and so it's an amazing feeling, but everyone works hard and everyone looks good, and it's, that doubt and stuff is so natural. I mean, that's just something that most people get.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think as competitors, like we want, like you said too, we want to be compared to the other girls so we can see how we can improve. Even if we know we've given our best, we've done everything we can, we're also very conscious of the fact that we're going to be judged. So naturally, we kind
Yes.
of go into a state of judgment because we're like, well, this is what they're looking for. This is the look. This is the symmetry. That maybe that presentation is really nice. And you talked about how you've been working really diligently to create your best look and also have polish. Now, when you talk about polish and you talk about your presentation and the actual look, the hair, the makeup, all these different things you tried, like what what was going through your head when you did find like the right one, or when you get judges feedback? Like, was there any contradiction? Was there any concern about trying these things? Like, what was guiding those decisions, like the darker hair, for example? Like, how did you make these decisions in the first place?
Well, I always take feedback from the judges. So, you know, my pro debut, when they said that my suit color and my real, because I had like platinum blonde hair, and I do want to make, whenever I'm talking about hair color, I do want to make this, you know, a point, especially if there's like amateurs and stuff that are listening, or just competitors in general that have, you know, lighter hair or blonde hair. It's not that judges don't like blonde hair, and it's not that blonde hair looks bad on stage or anything like that. There are actually a ton of judges that do love blonde hair. And it's really just whatever compliments you. I mean, when I turned pro, I had platinum blonde hair. So
Mm-hmm.
you can easily get your pro card and do that and have really blonde hair. That's not saying anything about what I'm going to talk about. But I do want to make a point that, you know, having a natural color on stage, so like a dirty blonde or something like that, can, it natural is kind of what the judges are looking for. So like typically when you have blonde hair, it just looks so bright on stage that sometimes it can clash with like maybe your suit color or you know, your makeup or something like that, because I've done the platinum blonde and the red suit, the bright red suit, and they told me that it clashed. They said the color of my suit and my hair clashed. So then I ended up changing the suit color and I kept my hair the same. So I changed the suit color and I kept my hair the same. And then I don't even remember what my feedback was. Oh, I remember what my feedback was. They had, there's been so many.
Yes.
They told me that they love, I think I got a better placing. I ended up getting like sixth place or something. They told me that they loved it. They loved the hair color and everything like that with the darker suit, and I ended up getting like sixth place. But I had, something had happened when I went to go get my hair done or something. I don't know. Something had happened to my hair color and it was like the worst color ever. Like I don't know, it like turned
Really?
green. Yeah, it like turned green almost. Um and so I ended up and I had extensions. So I ended up having to curl my hair with the extensions.
Um,
um and they didn't like the curly hair, so they were like, they told me to make sure that it's straight. They were like, we really like the straight look on you, keep your hair straight. I'm like, okay. So I
did
ended
they
up
say
going back
why
to
they
this.
like that look on you?
They I think it's because I have such a small frame, and that whenever I wear my hair curly, it covers up my back too much, so you can't see like my X shape.
Got it.
So for me personally, it's just like the curly hair was just too much on my frame because I'm so small. um Maybe if I had put more hair up in the front and didn't have it all in the back, that could have made a difference. But it's hard to control that when you're like posing and stuff on
Yeah.
stage. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, don't even take the risk. Like, just wear it straight, because then I don't have to worry about it. Um, and then, so I've done actually like a smoky eye. And whenever I went to go get feedback to, in front of Sandy, she was like, I don't like the dark makeup. She was like, you have dark eyes, the dark makeup. She's like, it just doesn't look like, it's not very bright. It doesn't brighten up your face. We want your face to be brighter. And I'm like, all right, so I'll stick to more like neutral tones or whatever. Um, and I asked them very detailed. Like, I love that they're so detailed, so that way I can make sure that I'm doing everything I can to like be perfect and get what they're looking for. And so, you know, she didn't really care for the smoky eye, so that was, and it wasn't just her, it's the whole panel. So I go and I talk to her and then the rest of the panel too. So they all say the same thing. You know, they didn't really care for the smoky eye. So I was like, all right. So now I stick to more like orangish, peachish, rose gold, like natural neutral colors. Um,
Yeah.
just to make because I have brown eyes and brown, like my eyebrows are dark, and then I have dark eyes, and they're really, my eyes are big. So they just like the more like neutral tones on my face.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've nailed my look. I know exactly what color, eyeshadow to wear. Like I always wear pretty much the same color eyeshadows. Make sure that it's just bright to like make my face look, more bright on stage. And then, I found the color hair that they love. And my feedback has always been great about the hair color. And yeah, I mean, I've just, every time I go and I ask them, very thoroughly about like detail, like give me details. Like I want to know the details. Like what are you seeing that's kind of like throwing you off? Things like that. So going and getting feedback in person, talking to them, taking it seriously, and then showing up and then letting them see you in person and all that good stuff. That's like huge. And they know they're going to remember you if you're constantly getting feedback and like face to face with them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's pretty
definitely.
much what happens. I mean, that's why, I get so detailed with everything, is because like I ask them for like really detailed feedback. So that way I can like make sure that I'm bringing exactly what they're looking for. And sometimes it gets down to like the lipstick. I'm like, okay, so do you like this lipstick color? Like, cause it's just something that I still haven't found. And still today, I still have not
Hmm.
found a lip color that I just absolutely love, that they absolutely love. So I'm still, tweaking that a little bit, to find a lip color that I really like. So
How are you gonna determine that before your next show?
I'm actually going to try a few, because I may do a show or two. Oh, I
I
am
was
going to do
wondering that.
yeah, I'm definitely going to do a show or two before the Olympia. So that way I can get feedback, make sure that, the makeup is on point and all that, for Olympia, which I do my own makeup. So I do everything myself. So that's why I try and get so much information and detail, because I know that I'm going to be doing it. If I had a
Hmm.
makeup artist that did it and I just had their visual and their eye, it would be a little bit different, but I don't have that.
Right.
So, I'm not a makeup artist. So I have to like get the judge's opinion and see what they like and then go from there.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I really love this because there's been some like hate stirring in the industry about people who are already qualified continuing to compete, which is just so ridiculous because there's so many reasons to continue to compete and do shows. One being you absolutely love it. Two being feedback, strategy. Hello, if you want to compete, you got to get that feedback. You got to be ready to bring your best. And why wouldn't you want to step on stage with people who you'll likely be competing against, get that feedback so you can bring your best? And I know you just recently took a little mini break, so that you could give your mind and your body a reset. But before we talk about what you did during that time, I want to know what feedback you're working off of, because you mentioned that Tyler really liked your physique. He said maybe bring it a little fuller. Muscle Conscious was like, that was too full. Sandy has liked it harder. So, how are you going to nail it with Jamie? Like, what are you guys focusing on?
So I actually, I really like because I actually got to my very last show, was the New York Pro, and I got to get in front of Tyler and Sandy. They were both, they were head judging and co-head judging that show. So I got to get in front of both of them at the same time and then get their feedback there. So that was really nice. That was how I wanted to end my season. Um, and they they said the same thing. They said I could have been a tad fuller, but they loved everything. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. Is we're just going to bring that conditioning and then, really focus on making sure that I fill out plenty before I get on the Olympia stage. And we'll do a couple of trial and errors before I step on the Olympia stage, leading up to that. So
Like
we'll,
peak
we'll
trials?
yeah, we'll definitely try and nail it. You know, Probably, I still haven't decided what show yet, because there's actually so many on one weekend that I want to compete. I think there's like 3 different shows, on one weekend, I think. So we'll figure it out. I actually haven't decided exactly what show. I thought I was gonna do the Arizona Pro, but that could change.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the weekend of December 5th. So I'm gonna do a show that weekend, but there's also a couple others. So we'll see, but that's going to be like my little trial and error
That'll
for
be
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just in time too.
Yes. So,
So,
and
uh-huh.
I was just gonna say, and I'm getting my my new suit for the Olympia made and stuff like that. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm super excited for it. Yeah.
So is it going to be the lighter turquoise or the brighter turquoise?
It is it's gonna be similar. I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but it will definitely be a shade of blue. I will never stray
Awesome.
away from a shade of blue.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that look on you too. I think it's just amazing. And it's clear that you've been really bringing that and trying to figure out exactly what's going to look the best. Now, we're talking about you kind of practicing different peaks and doing different strategies. And you recently posted about how taking a little mental reset, a little break helps you to give your all. Can you break down what a little, mini break looks like for you as opposed to like your usual approach, let's say during prep?
Yeah, so usually after a show, I'll just reverse and I'll stick to the reverse. I'll slowly bump up the calories, knock down the cardio weekly and stuff like that. But since it was such a short period, I mean, it was literally only 3 weeks that I was having this break. My coach and I had talked, and I had wanted to, because I was going to be traveling with my husband a lot. And I kind of just wanted a break from tracking. Like I didn't want to have to worry about logging my stuff. I knew I was going to be, having to eat out foods and stuff like that because I was going to be traveling. So tracking was just like not on my priority list. And, she trusts me because I actually am very good at like just intuitively eating, and I listen to my body, and I don't go crazy. So, she trusts me, and she knows that I'm going to, even if I go off a little bit, that I always know how to pull it back in, and I'm always like, good about staying in the realm that I need to stay in. So she wasn't worried at all. She just wanted me to keep up with my water, of course, hit my protein, and then we had my cardio at 20 to 30 minutes a day. So I always got my cardio in. I always I always hit my protein goal, and then I would go out to eat joy meals with my husband. We cooked a lot at home, and then we traveled some. So I really just got to enjoy myself, and had a couple photo shoots in between that were like lifestyle for the supplement company that I work for, Project AD. And that was really fun. And, it was just, I just wanted to give myself a mental and physical break from feeling like I have to do this, I have to do that. So I didn't do like any check-ins or anything like that. I talk to my coach all the time. So I kept up with her. I sent her like a random video, just letting her know I was doing, and sent her a little body check video, and let her know like what my weight was and stuff like that. So she was really happy with, my little break. And then I did 1 week of backing or being back on my macros. So I did 2 weeks of intuitive eating, and then 1 week of tracking macros, and then we started prep. So the 2 weeks,
Awesome.
yeah, the 2 weeks was like, it was just one of those things where I was like, I know I just really want to enjoy this, and I don't really want to have to worry about anything but enjoying myself. That's exactly what I did.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And the fact that you're bringing this up makes me just so happy because you're proof that enjoying yourself doesn't have to mean like losing control of yourself or losing this identity or taking care of your body. It's like the opposite, actually. Enjoying yourself can be doing it carefree without being like, oh, I have to do this for a check-in or for a show or for whatever. But like, I want to just enjoy my life for a little bit in a different way. And it's okay that I'm not tracking because I can honor my hunger cues. I can listen to my body. I'm still going to, like, you set commitments in place too, which is so important and something that I always talk to my clients about, which is like, you need to have commitments for your reverse diet, for your improvement seasons, for your preps that you stick to no matter what. And for you, that was your water, your protein, and enjoying yourself, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you just mentioned Project AD as well. And I know that, like I mentioned in the very beginning, you run a podcast with Beatrice, and this is actually sponsored, or I want to say like led and started with Project AD, who owns Professor Nuts. And so you guys do the Center Stage podcast. Now, how did this actually come about? Did they reach out to you? What was the goal with it? What was the vision, and how has it evolved?
Yeah. So basically they just set everything up for us, and they had reached out to, once me and Beatrice were both, we're like the faces
Mm-hmm.
of the brand for, the female portion of it. And it's just, they just wanted us to basically share our story and share our experiences. And, they know that Beatrice is also a coach too, and she also does posing. So
Yes, her posing is gorgeous. I
it's
can't.
absolutely phenomenal.
Oh
Oh my
my God.
gosh. It's insane. I know. She just looks so amazing. So just being able to like talk to her about about what she's gone through. I mean, she's so young. She's only 19.
I can't even.
So
I always forget that.
yeah, she's extremely young, but she's very, very mature, and she's experienced a lot on the stage. And she's been on the Arnold stage, she's been on the Olympia stage. So, she's definitely someone to look up to. I've looked up to her for a long time. So, getting her experiences and getting to chat about, what she does during prep, and she's just so motivating to talk to about all this stuff. So I really, really enjoy having the podcast on with her. I love having the guests on, and it was something very new for me. I'm not used to talking so much. Like, I've had a few interviews on podcasts like that, but I've never done it consistently. So it was
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that was new for me, but I absolutely love it. Like, it's so much fun.
I always tell people my podcast is my baby. Like, I have my business, which is my baby, but like my podcast is like my baby baby,
Yes. I
Like
love it.
it's a passion project, and you get into it and you're kind of like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's this gonna be like? Can I really do this? And not from the perspective of like I'm not capable, but from the perspective of like, can I do it consistently? Will I run out of things to say? And then you realize like, oh my gosh, no, because I love this so much and there's so much to cover.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. And that's the thing. Joe, the owner, he's the owner of Professor Nuts, he's the owner of Project AD. Um, that's what he really wanted for us. I mean, that was his vision. His vision was for us to be able to, share our experience, basically have a platform for us to be able to talk about whatever we wanted to talk about. So he just wanted to design some sort of platform for, his top athletes that were able to come on here and just share experiences and just get other people to know us. That's really what he wanted. He just wanted,
Mm-hmm.
other people to get to know his athletes and the people that we are. So I can't even thank him enough for being able to do all this stuff for us. It's truly a blessing.
He's smart, he's smart. He knows that people like and connect with people, and you guys are so real and just amazing women. You can inspire so many. So I think he's really smart for doing that and having you guys host that podcast together. And I also just think, like, as you were talking, I was like, wow, how amazing is it? You went from like what you said at the very beginning, which is an amateur who could not do a ton of shows because of finances, had to pay for everything herself, to now like you're running this amazing podcast with another awesome pro who you've looked up to. You've got suit sponsors, you're doing pro shows, and you're being part of those pro shows, like the seminars, you're connecting with the judges, you're coaching with Fit Body Fusion. So not that you weren't coaching before, but now you're with this team that you're also really enjoying being part of. So lots of changes have happened that have, it seems like, have opened up a lot of doors for you.
Yes, a lot have changed. A lot has changed, and I really think that it's just a lot of it was just trying to get comfortable. I still don't feel 100% comfortable. I like that. I don't want to feel comfortable. I like being uncomfortable because that's what's going to keep you growing, keep you challenged, all that good stuff. But um, you know, it, it's just one of those things where I was so not in the know, like, at all. Like, I didn't like, having Jamie really helped me realize like what all I needed to do in order to start being successful. And that was just putting myself out there, meeting people, going to these things, doing these things. Like I never did that as an amateur
Yeah.
because I was terrified and I didn't even know where to start, to be honest. I just felt like there was so much information. I didn't know what to believe, what was real, what wasn't. So having somebody that has been in the industry for years, that knows what to do, that knows, all the ins and outs of everything, and that can help you, reach whatever goal that you are trying to reach, that's what I needed. And so I'm really glad that I ended up finding Jamie because, she's the one that's really been able to teach me all of these things and been like, hey, well, if you want to be successful, you need to start, going to these shows, you need to start talking to these judges and getting them to know you and letting them see your face and asking for feedback and all of those things. And she was like, she even told me, when you're at these seminars, like, go and ask to help. She was like, don't be scared, like go and ask to help. And if I didn't have her, telling me go and ask, I probably would be way too scared to do it. So it's just such a blessing to have somebody that wants to see you succeed, that is being like, go talk on the microphone. And now I'm literally at these posing seminars talking on the microphone, and I'm just like, who is this person? Who am I?
So amazing. What an evolution. And you're right. There's like a level of like mentorship that comes with having a very experienced coach. And you've been able to find that in Jamie, and now you're coaching through the team as well. So what are some things that just as Jamie has encouraged you to go for it, what are some ways you do that with your clients?
Oh, I do that with all my clients, especially. So and this is cool. I actually just had one of my clients turn pro at North Americans. So
I think I know who you're talking about.
yes, Shelby,
Yes, she's going to
Shelby
be on the
Vesselback.
show soon.
Yes, she's incredible. She's such a good athlete. She listens to everything that I say. She takes what I say and then she does it like 10 times. So it's really nice
Nice.
to have somebody that is like taking what you say. They trust you. They're following it. They're doing even more than what you ask. So, it's just one of those things where when you have a passion and you're coaching somebody that also has a passion, not only is it fun, but you can just feel the energy. And I just knew, like, I was like, this girl, she has something. Like, I know she's going to be something. And she had to work really hard. Like, this has not come easy for her. She's vegan. She is 100% natural. Like, there's so many things that go against, she doesn't have super awesome genetics that just like, she has to work really, really hard. She's like straight as a board. She's like straight up and down. So when I got her, I offer posing for all my clients. So I knew that it was going to take some work. Like when I got her, I was like, all right, we're really going to have to, work on getting her back more flexible, all of those things. And I swear it's just like a night and day difference from when we started in, I believe it was February, or the end of January, until she got her pro card. Like we've just worked so hard. Um, and I can't even, she's awesome. I can't even like explain how great she is as a person and an athlete. So I'm really glad that she ended up getting her pro card, because I knew that she deserved it. And I just, I try to, how Jamie does with me, instill confidence in me and push me to do things that are outside of my comfort zone that maybe I wouldn't do. And, I try to do that with my clients too. And then obviously doing as many shows, having the experience that I have, going to the posing seminars, just taking so much information. And now I'm able to give all of this information to my clients. It's just so awesome to be able to do this for other people, because I had this done for me from Jamie, and now I get to do this with my athletes. So it's a full circle that's coming back, and I'm just really happy that I'm able to take all the information that I can and all the knowledge and spread it and give it to my clients and help them succeed.
Wow, that is amazing. And I love that you said that you put that passion in with them and that you appreciate when other athletes are passionate too. And it does make it easier to work with someone who actually wants to put in the work and is excited about it. You mentioned that she was very up and down and she's vegan and she's 100% natural and she doesn't have all these genetics. Like, there were things working against her. What do you think separates someone with all the, because there's a lot of people like that who love this sport and who do this sport, but what do you think separates the ones like that from, or those who go pro and those who do not go pro, who are like that?
That are you saying that they both put in a lot of effort and some go pro and some don't? Is that what you're saying?
They both have a lot working against them.
Oh,
Yeah. And then what do you think sets apart that person from the next?
honestly, and this is the thing with bikini. It is never going to be consistent, and sometimes it's just the right place at the right time. And that's really how it is. So you can sit there and you can work your butt off and you can look incredible and you can still get that second call out, and it's just one of those things where it you just have to keep getting up there. You just do. And I told her that. I said, you know obviously that was her first national show. It was my first time putting a competitor on a national stage, and to get our pro card in our first shot, like, I do, she 100% deserved it. My eyes, I could not take my eyes off of her out of that whole entire lineup. Like, she just stood out. Like, she looked so beautiful. Her polish, we really worked on her polish because I had to work so hard on my polish, that it helped me have some sort of like a little bit different of an eye for it now, because I've been around it so much and I know exactly what they're looking for. And I've talked to so many different judges and I've gotten a lot of different perspectives and feedback. And, I just know kind of like I'm getting an eye for it now.
Yes.
And now that I'm getting that eye, it's a lot easier for me to be able to see things with my athletes that I can be like, ooh, they're probably not going to like that. Or, oh yeah, they're really going to like that. So just having all this experience has really just helped me have that eye for it. And, I told her, I said, obviously, like, I loved her look and I knew she was going to do great. But getting your pro card in your first national shot is not common. So, I told her, I was like, let's just go into this show. We're going to get feedback. And then we'll go on to the next. So we already had like her season planned out and everything. Like, we had
Right.
other shows. Yeah. So like when we went to when she did the show and she got her pro card, I was like I literally cried. I was so happy that, it happened for her. But I do want athletes to know that, first of all, that's not super common. Second of all, don't have expectations to, go pro in the first or second, sometimes even third time. There's a ton of athletes that do this, that have been doing this for a long time, that are trying to get their pro card. And you have to take into consideration that maybe this is your second or third time, but hey, that girl that just got their pro card, that could be like their 12th time competing
Yes. Oh
to
my
get that pro card,
gosh.
you know?
Exactly. And like not wanting it, just like not expecting it because like, oh, well, I've done one show, I've done two shows, or oh, well, I really love the sport, so I deserve to have it. Like it doesn't work like that all the time. Most of the times it doesn't. You really do need to be willing to earn it.
Yes, 100%. And if you really want it, it shouldn't matter how many shows it takes. Like
Yes.
it really shouldn't, because if you really love this sport and you love you love the drive and you love all this, then you have no reason not to love getting on that stage and keep trying to get that pro card and stuff. There should be no reason that you should get frustrated or mad. You should just want to keep working and keep continuing to do that. So, that's
Yes.
always been my mindset. My mindset for every single show that I've ever done has always been, okay, I really want it. This is my goal, but really the ultimate goal is to get better. And what feedback can I get to improve for the next time? So that's all I care about. And that's all I think about.
That is awesome. And you've continued that into your pro career as well, which is really cool. And I mean, we've talked about so many different things and gotten lots of updates on just how life has changed. I'm curious if there's anything that I didn't ask you about that you want to update us on, or any other insights you have.
Oh gosh, there's been so much stuff. I mean,
I just thought of something actually.
yeah.
When you are managing your coaching and all your shows, how do you do that? Like, how do you personally manage your time along with like your relationship, along with travel, along with all these things that you're doing? How do you personally like use time management?
So I have a calendar set up, and all I have like appointments. So you have to schedule an appointment to do anything. Especially if it's like say it's like during peak week. Um, I make sure to get all my appointments done all the way, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. I have those days to like prepare, travel, do all that stuff. So I get all my stuff done in the earlier in the week. So I treat my job like an actual, like if I were going to work. Like I treat it the same.
Yes.
So, I wake up at a certain time, I start work at a certain time. I have my appointments set, and I use Calendly. And Calendly is just an app where you can set your own schedule basically. Set the time, set the days, do all that, and then you can send a link and then people can schedule through the app. So then they just make
Yes.
appointments through the app. So
That's
that's how I
perfect.
keep up with all my time and everything like that. So that way I know exactly what my day looks like. I schedule everything out in advance, so I know exactly, my schedule is so like, it's just like everything has to be
In
on my
there.
schedule. Yes, in
I'm the
there on my
same way.
schedule. Yes.
My boyfriend always makes fun of me. He's like, "Do you want to pencil me in? You want to put me in the calendar? Check your calendar."
Oh my gosh, I definitely have to do that. It's so funny.
I know it. Well, I appreciate you sharing everything. I mean, I've gotten so much insight. The fact that you went into the detail you did on your strategy and the way that you're really getting ready for the O and the way that you approach the sport is always so appreciated and just means a lot to me that when you come on and having you on again, you always just show up and give your best and give us so much to like grow with and take away from. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy being able to come on here and, give some insight and just my experience and all that good stuff. So I just can't even thank you enough for just having me on here. I've had a blast.
Yay, I'm so glad. And can you let everybody know how they can connect with you, maybe even work with you or listen to your podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast is The Center Stage, and you can go on, it's on Apple Podcast, it's on Spotify. We have a couple other platforms, which honestly, they're very like random,
I know
random
that.
like
Yeah.
platforms, but the two main ones are going to be the Apple and the Spotify. Um, and then you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is AB_bikini fit. Or you can just look up Ashlyn Brown and I'm under there. And then, yeah, if you are interested in filling out a application to coach with me for Fit Body Fusion, I do have that link in my bio on my Instagram account. So you would definitely have to click the link and then also request me. So you just have to request me as your coach, and then I will contact you and we will get on a consult call. And then, yeah, that's all you need to know in order to fill out an application to talk to me.
Perfect. I'm going to put all of that in the show notes page. And you guys, I'm also going to link her last episode there too. So if you go on celestial.fit/podcast, you're going to see a category that's titled Ashlyn Brown. Both her episodes will be there. It'll also be under the return guest category, so you can find it that way. And I'm going to make sure both her episodes are there. And then, of course, this episode's going to have extensive notes and timestamps. And then the one from the past is literally like a blast from the past. So you'll definitely want to listen and you'll be amazed what's possible and with that type of mindset. And I'm so grateful again, Ashlyn. Thank you so much. And to everybody listening, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.
Thank you.